Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Hey, Time and Tech employees, welcome back to Time and Tech Files, a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to the show Heroes, as well as the sequel series Heroes Reborn. I'm Lilith, and on the hunt for specials, or EVOs, is
Ricky. Hello.
Up for discussion today is episode 311, Eclipse Part 2. We're nearly done with this volume, and it just gives me so much joy. Let's get right into the review. The original air date for this episode was December 1st, 2008. Again, it was written by Joe Pekaski and Aaron E. Coletti. It was directed by Holly Dale.
So, the synopsis is, while the eclipse continues to affect the hero's powers, Noah attempts to get revenge on Sila and Elle for shooting Claire, whose condition is worsening. Nathan comes to a shocking decision while working with Peter to help the Haitian face his brother, Baron Samedi. In the meantime, Ando and two comic book geeks use Ninth Wonders comics to try and restore Hero's memory, who is reluctant to become an adult after seeing the death that lies with it.
Okay, major plot points and players. I think we wrapped everything up except for the bit about Sila realizing the truth about villains like him and Elle. Mohinder is just like, oh crap, I messed up. Yeah, those are only two things I was thinking. We get the tale of the bike messenger in this episode. That finally comes into play.
Let's start with the shortest story in the episode. Let's start with Mohinder. It also gives us something to celebrate afterwards, so yes. So Mohinder finally gets away from Flint, which there is one thing I like about Flint, and the fact that, even though his powers are gone, he still tries to use his flame powers by having a lighter next to him. Kind of reminds me of that. The
Heroes Reborn Dark Matter?
Yes. Only, he could get it to light first time properly. So he manages to get away from them. He beats the crap out of Flint and ends up going towards Maya, knocks on a door. The eclipse stops and his powers start to manifest again, and he hides around a corner. And we finally say goodbye to Maya. Yay!
No offense to you, Danaya Ramirez. It was just your character.
Definitely. I don't know what he wanted to do.
He's like, I'm healed! I'm not a super ugly, creepy guy anymore, Maya. Forgive me. Let's run away. Come back to India with me.
Yeah, but was she gonna forgive him now all of a sudden?
Maya's dumb enough to do it. He knows it.
Fair enough. So let's move on to Ando and the two comic book geeks. It seems like a total waste of bringing Seth Green on the show, and the only reason you're kind of gonna use him is to kind of talk Hiro out of a toilet. That's basically what you've done with him, right? Hiro in this episode realizes what becoming an adult entails for him, because obviously he's read them in his Ninth Wonders comic, realizes all the kind of death that surrounds him, and realizes that he doesn't want to be an adult anymore. Runs into the toilet, hides in there, and he's talked out by Seth Green. So yeah, that's basically all that really happened with him. Oh yeah, but then he realizes what he has to do, and that is, what's his name? Brecken Meyer. Frack is looking for a comic book and notices that in the back of handing Claire over to HRG when she was a child, Claire and Hiro are there. So Hiro decides that he's got to go there, and he ends up saving the day and bringing her back in time to see. Basically, they both see themselves, and I like that there's a little meta narrative as well at one point where Seth Green or Sam says that Hiro Nakamura and Claire Bennett have only ever met once, and that was when they were kids. And then Frack brings up, oh, but they met on Kirby Plaza. It was like, yeah, but that doesn't really count. So I really that little nod to it, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a good part, but I was just like, they didn't really have any chemistry at all together. I found that their little misadventures together, it was annoying as hell to me. I'm glad we never had to do that again.
But yeah, that's basically Hiro's kind of arc in this. And once again, Ando's left to the side. I know, right? Letting these other two kind of comic book geeks just kind of weigh in on his territory. But yeah, he gets better as the season goes on. So yeah, it's not that bad. He gets his kick-ass moments soon. So yeah. Matt and Daphne somehow make up by him just coming in. And yeah, that's really all that happens with them. We've already talked about that in the comic book kind of part of it in the last episode. But yeah, they still don't have any chemistry at this point.
I agree, sir. I don't know. I don't feel any sympathy for Daphne. That's weird because I'm in that situation that she's in. But I don't know. She just doesn't seem smart to put two and two together. She's still worried about like Arthur Petrelli. And
I think it gets better from here on out because obviously now Matt kind of knows her big secret and he kind of has accepted her for it. And so she kind of, from now on, she can kind of be herself with him. And that's how I kind of see it at the moment. I really can't remember what happens with them. Well, I know the main thing that happens with them, but I can't remember like anything in between. So we'll see how that pans out for the rest of their kind of time together.
Peter and the Haitian?
Yeah, we'll go with that one, yeah.
Brothers.
Definitely brothers. I do like that there's that kind of parallel between the brothers at this point as well, because obviously the Haitian and Baron Samedi are at odds, and this is the kind of breaking point between Peter and Nathan. So it's the kind of start of their kind of journey towards Samedi and Haitian kind of powers confrontation. So yeah.
And like, I love how Nathan just is like so stupid. And like, it's Peter that actually brings it up. He's like, when they're talking about the Eclipse or whatever, he's like, how could the Haitian have enough juice to do that way out? Like, come on, man.
So basically, the storyline is Nathan gets captured and held in a kind of prison, and we get a bit of, not with him, but like he gets held in a prison with a little girl or a teenage girl. Her sister gets taken away for #rapey business and is saved by Haitian and Peter. And whilst Nathan is chained up with this other girl, he realizes that, well, in his mind, he realizes that, if someone with like power like Baron Samedi can do this to like the small town of Haiti, what will happen with, if a group of the people get together? So that's when he kind of starts to drink his father's Kool-Aid.
That's not how I took it. I thought that he took it as his real power was being in the government, being able to shut that whole thing.
Oh yeah, because his power is flying. So yeah, I've always said that his main power hasn't been his actual power, it's been his kind of political pull. And yeah, but he feels that he can make a difference as a senator as opposed to using his powers. But at the same time, he kind of does drink into his kind of dad's kind of Kool-Aid of not giving the whole world kind of powers, but giving a select few people kind of powers and giving them the right powers. So yeah, that's kind of where that storyline for Nathan kind of starts.
It didn't feel organic though. Am I the only one that feels this way?
Oh no, yeah, it felt very last minute kind of. Robert Forster's not coming back for any more episodes. We've got to have a new bad guy. Let's just go with Nathan. Oh no, yeah, definitely. It felt very, very like quick, a very quick kind of thing. And especially when you think about how, in previous seasons, Nathan is always the one to kind of bring up, don't give out your powers because, people will run tests on you. And that's kind of where he's going now. He's kind of going in that kind of government are tracking and hunting down other specials. And it's just like, I don't know whether it's foreshadowing or they just forgot that he kind of said that and just said, fuck it, let's make him be a hypocrite. But yeah, what can you do? #heroes logic. But yeah, there is something else I wanted to bring up. The Haitian talks about how Well, no, it's not the Haitian. Baron Samedi brings up how, if you use your name, you kind of lose your power because of it. That's why he calls himself Baron Samedi, because people will know him as Baron. I think that's kind of why the Haitian is also known as the Haitian for most of the time, because he's very mysterious and I don't know, obviously people are just calling him the Haitian, but, I feel that that's kind of why they kept going with the Haitian as opposed to giving him his name until like much later on. But yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think that's the case, or do you think it's just the case that they didn't really want to give him a name yet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just didn't want to give the black guy. Like, no offense to heroes. I'm not saying that it was intentional, but, you got a group of, like, mostly white male raiders with very limited cultural scope.
Yeah.
Certain characters get put in the back because you can't relate to their cultural background. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely.
That's why you need a varied writer's room full of different sexualities and all that other stuff, cultural, ethnic backgrounds and all that.
And preferably different genders, so you can get kind of decent women in your shows.
Even the writers' rooms with decent women, they have to kowtow to the network execs or whatever. So, like, even at that point, unless it's HBO, But that's a good theory. I'll patch you. You get a biscuit.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's just about it. No, we also end up with Claire, HRG, and Sylar. So we might as well finish off on that. HRG leaves Claire again.
In the hospital.
She dies. Yeah. She dies, comes back to life, and all this time HRG's gone to he realizes that no one has any powers, so he's gone to kind of deal with Sylar, and deal with him he does by slitting his throat.
But not really. We don't get to see it.
Yeah. It's just shown that he does it, and then Sylar just kind of falls on his face. But then the eclipse happens. The eclipse finishes, and they both come back to life. And not before kind of Sylar, not before HRG and Claire have their 1700th argument about Claire being whiny and him trying to protect the family.
Is he really trying to protect the family? I feel like he just wanted to get away from that mess. And at that point, I didn't blame him. Honestly, it's like...
Yeah, I also think that he just kind of wanted his revenge. Obviously, he tried to get his revenge using Stephen Canfield, but he knows he can't do really that much because he's just a human and Sylar's got powers. No matter how badass he is, he really can't do anything, especially without the Haitian around him. But now that Sylar's human, he knows that it's kind of a level playing field, and not even a level playing field, that he's got the advantage because he knows he's got the particular set of skills to kind of do the deal.
Ooh, you just inspired fanfic. Liam Neeson's character from Taker hooks up with HRG. That was a mess though, but I was totally team Mama Bennett because she gave him the what for. Seriously. It was the first time she really, really gave him the what for.
But it ends with Sylar and Elle turning back up at the Bennett household, and Hiro coming in and teleporting them out and teleporting Claire back to the past. And we've already talked about that. They end up back in the past, seeing their baby selves. But we might as well go on to Elle and Sylar because that happens.
Don't remind me. This is the biggest WTF What Were You Thinking moment. It's part of Heroes season 3. I was just like, why would you do that? This is one of the best things they had going for them.
His reasonings behind killing her just doesn't really make sense, especially the kind of ups and downs that they've gone through, and it seems like they're on a level that that they're back on track, but then he just kills her. Why does he even kill her properly?
He already had her power.
So that's basically that episode.
Yeah. It's
nearly there.
How nothing really happened in 43 minutes, really. That I like.
And how everything that was brought up in the first the Eclipse Part 1 has totally been undone. You've got Claire, Elle and Sylar kind of are at a happy place, and in here at the end of this one, they're obviously not in a happy place. And you've got Noah and Claire at odds at the beginning of the episode, and then they kind of are back to arguing, and then by the end of it, you don't know where they're at. It's just that kind of way of that they keep on going through the same, they have conflict, resolution, and then back to the conflict, but it's exactly the same conflict as the beginning, which is very frustrating about these kind of, which has been happening over these block of Heroes episodes. Oh, let's go on to the recap now, the review.
Oh, the review is not. I have nothing nice to say, but I'll try. My very best. Best character.
I think I'm gonna have to give it to Peter again because he doesn't have any powers and he's still he shows he's stupid, but he's there's brave stupid, and that's what he is. He shows that he can be a hero even without his powers, and I kind of admire him for that. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. So how about you?
I'm gonna give it to the little girls, Marie and no, it's not Marie. Hold on. Yeah, Marie and Vivian, the two little sisters, because they were cute and they didn't. Because everybody else pretty much irritated me.
How about character interaction? Who would you give that to? Would you give it to the sisters again?
No, actually, no. I'm gonna give it to Sandra in HRG, where she's just like, she needed you, and where were you? I'm like, yeah, get upset. Let that build up for another season and a half.
I'm gonna agree with you there. Yeah, I think I really like that moment as well, because it's her standing up for herself. But yeah, scene. Do you have any favorite scenes?
Yes, I do. It's when Matt and Daphne return to Sam's comics, and they're like, "Oh, Hiro's gone," and then Sam's like, "Yeah, but we have a last posthumous issue of Isaac Mendez's comic, and then there's nothing else." He's like, "However, there's urban legend that Isaac gave one final story to a bike messenger on the day he died," and I'm like, "Yes!" I was wondering when we were ever going to get back around to that.
I am going to go with Nathan giving basically the superhuman spear to Baron Samdi into the car, and then just the way that Baron Samdi kind of gets back up just before the Haitian kind of Haitians him, just that kind of ominous kind of getting back up, and then yeah, he's done. I did look kind of like, they've starting to pull out the stops with the kind of quote unquote fights. At least they're showing some powers and stuff like that. So yeah. And finally, any lines?
Of course, I always have lines. Well, 99.9. The Haitian and Peter. His followers think he's a god, and I say we make him bleed.
I'm going to go with Arthur's. I think this eclipse showed us exactly who we are: desperate, angry, and weak. So yes.
So meta.
I know, right? What are we going to go grade-wise?
I think it's back down to a D+ for me. This was utterly disappointing, especially with Nathan's decision.
I don't know about Nathan's decision. I kind of, while I don't agree with how it was done, I don't know, but I've always had a soft spot for Nathan, even though he's a douchebag. Yeah, I'm going to go with a D+ as well, just because of the way that the characters flip-flop and, nothing's really resolved because everything that you've been arguing about pretty much for the first beginning, like since the beginning, is still the same at the end, even though there's been a kind of resolution. So, yeah.
Did this even need to be a two-parter? Honestly? We could have trimmed the fat and had these two episodes one episode, as far as I'm concerned.
You could have just, not had any of the resolution and just carried on, as goes. So, yeah. Ugh. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about trivia. There's not really any trivia.
I like the holy trivia, because even though they didn't do it in season 4, they should have done it in season 4. They should have had HRG do it at the episode 418.
Yes, at the end of it, yeah. Oh man. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna go.
Okay, yeah. So what I was talking about is the episode continues the trend of a character saying "holy before cutting to the to be continued screen. Season 1 and season 2 had it, and it's always a Bennett that says it. Clear in season 1 and 3, and then obviously Noah in season 2 when he.
Yes. So it should have been Noah in season 4, because that makes sense.
Yep.
1, 3, 2, and 4. So yeah. We will move on to. There's no comics, but around about this time, the Heroes webisode, the second one, came out, which was called Heroes Destiny. It was sponsored by Sprint, and you you could text in, like, basically every week they would give you like 3 attributes, and you could vote on them using your Sprint mobile, like all that kind of texting and stuff. They gave you 2 characters to kind of choose from, and the winner got the series. So the winner was a character called Santiago, and we'll talk about him in the webisode, but I just wanted to bring up the other character, who was Audrey. The synopsis, the kind of character, the episode bio that would have been for her was, she's 18 years old. She lives with her mother in Paris, above a family bakery. Audrey's forced to take responsibility for the family business despite the fact that she's in school. She works behind the counter and that's where she discovers her power. She has the power to speed people up or slow them down to a crawl. Suddenly anything's possible for her. She can help her mother finish her homework on time, hang out with friends practically all at the same time. She starts to succumb to the temptation of her powers for darker purposes. She starts doing nothing more than speeding up her math class to get out early, but before she knows it, she's slowing down everyone in the bakery so she can steal money from the cash register. As Aubrey's understanding of her, I know, she sounds way more better than this one that came out, but yeah, as Audrey's understanding of her power grows, she resolves to use them for greater good, but sometimes her means of getting to that good are morally questionable. So yes, that was Audrey, who sounded way more better than Santiago. So yes, we're going to talk about his 4-part webisode series, which is kind of doo-doo.
Yeah, it is. I won't lie. He's got, his power is what, accelerated probability, right?
Yes, but it also is matched in with super speed, which I've talked about this before. Like, I don't get how those powers kind of link.
No, it's a Flash reference because, technically Wally West is the one that finally does it. No, Impulse. It's like where everything is firing on all cylinders. Like, you are moving so fast that your brain can actually, like, speed read. You can comprehend and retain that knowledge and all that stuff.
Okay.
So it's like everything's catching up together. Like, I get where they're coming from because I'm a huge Flash fan. But if you're a layman, I totally get why you would.
Fair enough. Okay, so the only things that we have to talk about in part 1, which is called Let Us Pray, is it kind of introduces a character. Yes. It introduces the character of Santiago. He kind of lacks direction, and he feels that he discovers his powers, and he feels that it kind of gives him purpose. And we realise that he's being watched. And the name of the woman who, like, there's 2 women who are watching, and one of them is called Elisa, and the other one is called, I kid you not, Serious Looking Woman. That is her name throughout the whole thing. So yeah, that's part 1. Part 2 is called Intervention.
Yeah, they need an intervention at this point with these damn webisodes.
So Santiago meets a girl. She needs money, so he's playing a football match, and he says that, if they win, if he helps them win, will they donate all their the money to charity? And the rest of the team, well, I say the rest of the team, his one friend agrees as long as he gets to keep the trophy. I'm sorry, I would want to keep the money. But anyway, it brings up more about religion and his belief in God, and he thinks that God wants him to make a difference, but it doesn't really help him in the end, because at the end of the episode, he's captured by Elisa, who is a double agent for this where they never explicitly say that it's the company, but they call it an organization. So that kind of confused me, especially when I was watching it. But yeah, we'll move on to part 3, which is...
Wait.
Yeah.
I just want to say something really quick. Like when I was watching these, and then, like, I was looking at the credits and stuff, and then I saw directed by Eagle Eagleson, I was like, oh, they've gone and dragged poor Double E into this, haven't they? Man needs a paycheck.
So we have part 3, which is called Capture, and it gives us an explanation of his powers and kind of this company / organization. I'm going to call them the organization because they're never referred to as a company. They want Santiago to take over from his father. His father was an assassin for them, and it's offering him what he was talking about in episode 1, a place and a purpose. And it ends up with him getting a slip on his captors, but they always have the upper hand. But he's saved by, you guessed it, Elisa, because it wouldn't be Heroes without flip-flopping a character. So yeah,
Floppy love story.
I know, right? The last one is part 4 called Escape. And it turns out that Elisa wants to get out and she's going to use Santiago to help her because Elisa knew her father and she saw that, his father changed because of his family. So it ends up with them on the run. There is a point that I want to bring up that this is all based in South America, I believe. I can't remember where exactly.
Yeah.
But when he is captured, he's brought to Chicago, and then the same episode, after he runs out, they realize they're in Chicago, and then the next scene is him walking up to his mother in church back in South America. So yeah, that's a lot of time that they kind of glossed over, but I'm fine with it. It ends up with him realizing his mother has powers of pyrokinesis, which actually looks better than Meredith's version because it has smoke. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And it kind of ends with you realizing that his father faked his death and he kills serious-looking woman in order to save his family. So yeah, I have no idea where they were going with this.
They said that everything, including the webisodes, was canon. So I'm just like, you sure? Are you sure?
The first things first, I never got where serious looking woman was working for. Like, was she working for Pinehurst? Was she working for the company? Or are they going to try and bring it back and say she was working for Renatus? Who knows?
That would be interesting if they did. If she really didn't die and she shows up and she's like talking to the lady that runs Renatus.
And they give her a name.
And then like she's Quentin Freddy's boss.
Yes. But yeah, what did you think of these webisodes?
I liked going postal well enough for what it was, but as the webisodes went on, this was clearly just like, hey, Sprint gave us some money, so we got to do something with it.
What do you think of this?
Santiago was boring. Like I had no like, I wanted him to die.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about this. I just watch it and I was bored by it and it just the way that it goes off onto tangents and kind of, it doesn't really have a very cohesive story. And it feels like, especially the ending is like, oh, we're going to give you a shock because, just for the sake of it, not because it makes sense in the overall arc of the story. So, yeah.
I did get excited at one point because one of the ladies kind of looks like the actress that played Eden. And I was like, wait, is that? Oh, it's not.
But yeah, I think the name of the other character, like Audrey, that one sounds a lot better because it kind of gives you that kind of morally grey kind of storyline as opposed to this, which seems more like he's a goody two-shoes and he just gets captured. That's all we're essentially...
I don't think that it was a real poll. I think they had written this already and they were just like, no, we're just going to tease you with the good stuff and write the crappy stuff.
So yeah, that's basically all I have to talk about that one because it was a pile of poop. Well, let's just say this. That's all I've got to say about this one because it wasn't the best webisode series that they put out.
I think the one with Doyle is the best one that they put out that you can't even find all the freaking episodes for.
I know, right?
So yeah, listener feedback.
Yes, we have listener feedback. As per usual, it is from our favourite English idiot 101, Charlie. Yes, she says, I liked both parts of the Eclipse when I first saw it, but on repeat viewings, my opinion is less positive. The Noah Claire had promise, but ended like most of their season 3 stories with Claire in a strop at her dad. Scylla else had a good story. They worked so well together. It's a shame that the writers couldn't find more of a story for Elle. At least Scylla isn't a Petrelli anymore. The Hiro Ando Matt story got tiresome after a while, but it was funny when Hiro was throwing corn at Matt. Peter and Nathan going to Haiti was interesting, but Nathan had to go and ruin it at the end.
Thank you, Charlie.
Mohinder didn't really need to be in the episodes, or it was really only to show the effects of the eclipse on him and then show Maya, and she's put a happy face and then a sad face. I can't really make that out, but yes, these could have been really good episodes, but the pacing was off and some of the storylines are needed. So yes.
Yep.
So the following people joined us for the live tweeting of the episode. They were either tweeting, retweeting, or faving. I have Games Are Easy, Davinia KBFO, Cinzia667, Super LM123, English Idiot 101, and Soft_Guitar 60. Thank you all for joining.
Looks like it's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/primatechfiles. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Primatech Files. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn. And if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80-plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that could interest you.
Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter at tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter at RickyJDiaz. That's RickyJDiaz, or Z if you're American.
And that brings us to the wrap-up. We hope you've enjoyed this installment of Primatech Files. I swear after the volume is over, we're back to being happy, not happy, but a little bit more analytical and positive. So please remember to keep sending us those emails and tell us whether you agree or you think we're absolutely barking mad.
Download the podcast, save the world.